Hello, dear participants. I am Olexander Belej from National University Lviv Polytechnic, and I present the research of TENS detection of attacks in wireless network of Internet of Things. Science 20 and 9 information systems based on blockchain technology have been more and more popularity. Blockchain is a data processing technology based on the following basic principles. Data storage structure is a blockchain containing information built according to certain rules. Each block in the chain uses the hash value of the previous block. This information applies to the nearest block. Blockchain consists of the following basic elements. Useful service data from the previous block in the chain. Useful data can be any information that needs distributed storage. For example, additional information may include the time the block was created, its computationally complexity, and the random number used to calculate the hash. The general meaning of smart contracts comes from the idea of smart assets. Smart contracts are methods of conducting transactions in a decentralized ledger based on the use of cryptocurrencies and smart assets to sign agreements through blockchain technology. An example of a smart contract is a transaction that remains inactive in the decentralized ledger until a certain data or event. The transfer of inheritance rights on the day of the death of the owner of asset, the perhaps or sale of asset on the day of the death of the owner of asset. Data of death of ownership if owner of the asset dies, the exchange takes place after notification, and the ownership automatically passes from finance company to the individual after all loans are paid off. Always the use of smart contracts today requires a strict regulatory framework to regulate the procedures for fulfilling contractual obligations. It assumes that personal data should be processed in the blockchain system at least during the entire life cycle of the subject personal data. During the entire process of personal data processing, the safety, confidentiality, availability, integrity, and reliability should be ensured. Therefore, the construction of a protected decentralized registry of personal data boils down to solving the following tasks. To determine the composition of a black hole, it must be processed in DRPD. Define the overall DRPD architecture, determine the order of data storage, determine mechanisms for reaching consensus, including procedures for providing rewards to users to ensure the operation of the DRPD and procedure for automatic assessment of risks in processing and unreliable personal data. Select the hash function calculation methods. Determine the general sequence of development of the DRPD. It seems appropriate to use machine learning techniques to implement automated risk assessment using consensus mechanism. For example, it's recommended to identify for characteristics can be used to conduct risk analysis. The degree of formal connection between the consensus node and the confirmation object. Mutual confirmation of participant in personal data network can indicate collusions and user behavior that's distributed among multiple people and therefore particularly difficult to detect. The amount of potential computation to personal data subjects, reliability of consensus node, and verification objects. In Figure 1 shows the recommended approach to protection personal data when using DRPD, and the holistic approach of decentralized registry of personal data to protection human resources. We can see the defines their purpose of personal data processing in DRPD, and formation define the general DRPD architecture, and have five other and have five list. Based on the analysis of the existing requirements and methods of ensuring data security, the relevance of developing a method of ensuring data security during processing in blockchain systems by using artificial neural networks has been confirmed. A method of ensuring the reliability of personal data processed in blockchain system has been developed. As part of the development of this method, the category of methods for ensuring data reliability was expanded by using artificial neural networks to identify unreliable personal data when they are entered into the blockchain system. A method of analyzing the authorization behavior of information system users has been developed. As part of the development of this method, user behavior was formalized and the possibility of detection anomalies in user behavior using artificial neural networks. Taking into account the purpose and composition of the personal data as well as the large volume of data that must be processed in the DRPD, it's recommended. DRPD has several independent private blockchains, and Figure 3 shows a general block diagram. We can see in this diagram two blocks, and we have hash sum from one block to next block in independent cell. Okay, and in Figure C, have a general hierarchy of the centralized registry of personal data. That's that are schemes of organization blocks in storage with many nodes. Due to the specificity of the thematic fields, Belej doesn't publish new blocks every day, mainly contains information about additional professional education received. But the fall and spring be the season when your quarters with information about secondary and higher proposal for the number and frequency of creation of new block duration will up. And in the one table, a proposal for the number and frequency of creation a new block. We have identity block in blockchain and have other characteristics for this block. And the result of this register data formation next scheme check the general registry data, and we can see the central block consensus node device with subsystem of achieving consensus transaction query, new block, and we can see this block formation as a blockchain and reward the methods and the definition require careful study and are beyond the scope of this study. In table 2, second, the author we provide general examples of possible reward values to demonstrate the general principles of rewarding users. Fuzzy set theory can be used to demonstrate the value of revels. In the proposed example, users with a personal data value of 6 can become consensus node, and we can see generalized example of possible reward values. And generals graph of artificial neural networks for determining the ability of personal data have next view. We can see as a layer formation block chain with input data and formation exit data is y. Sorry, depends on the degree of connection between the verification object and the consensus node and favorite conditions for collisions. We can see in figure 6 and dependence X and U. The relationships between the level of participation UB and the probability of mutual confirmation of conspiracy yield X, we can see in this figure. Dependence on the ability of the verification object UD and the consensus node and the probability of collisions X have next graphs. And results displayed by the neural network at the initial stage of training are shown in the table set, and we can see other parameter for meaning in our formation blockchain. The result after completing the training of the extended neural network are shown in the table 4. And we can see as changing parameter for meaning blocks, our blocks in exist y. The most common scenario for decentralized systems based on blockchain technology seems to be the user of interaction paths with complex structures that allow network segments to be connected in the series and parallel. For clarity, figure 9 shows a general example of such a structure consisting of 7 paragraphs. We have 4 blocks for 2 fragments. And result of combination of 7 elements for formation this block presents on figure 10. The category of data reliability methods is expanded due to the use of artificial neural networks to identify unreliable personal data when entered into blockchain systems. The ability of personal data processing in blockchain system can be ensured using the proposed method, WIPO single-level cloud platform or at the country level, as part of ensuring compliance with the requirements for monitoring incorrect user actions when entering personal data. This method differs from known methods by the unique architecture of the information system of personal data. This method differs from known method in that it uses a conceptually new consensus approach that involves an automated assessment of the risk of implementing unreliable material handling, the theory of artificial neural networks, and the theory of fuzzy sets. Thus, The task proposed in our article has been solved to develop a method for ensuring the reliability of personal data processed in the blockchain system. And when the data enters the blockchain system, its reliability will be automatically evaluated. Thank you for attention. Question, please, writing in in my email or in chats of my number. Thank you for attention and bye. See you soon.